I'm Lynn. Welcome to Cooking with Lynn. Cooking in my kitchen again for the Cumberland Library. Today I'm making chicken vegetable soup. And disclaimer, I'm videoing this myself. I don't have a cameraman. I've got the phone propped up kind of precariously. If you fall over, I'll pick you back up. Don't worry about it. I'm going to try to show you as much as I can of what I'm doing, and it's not that easy, but I'm going to give it a shot. There's some other videos up on YouTube, Cumberland Public Library. Check us out. This one will be up tomorrow, I believe. Today is Monday, Martin Luther King Day, so be sure to check it out. So chicken soup, any soup, probably sounds difficult, homemade soup. It's really not. It can be a long process if you're going to make your own broth and you're gonna cook the chicken with some aromatics, with some onions and some celery and some carrots, and make your own broth. Boil that chicken for a long time and get some broth in there, and then you've got to take it out and you got to strain it and you got to get the fat off and shred the chicken and all that stuff. And it can be time consuming. It's not difficult, but certainly can be time consuming. I used to do that all the time, and then I was like, why am I making my own broth? I don't really want to do that anymore. So I buy broth. There's plenty of good broths out there. Bone broth, chicken broth, whatever. I don't even know what bone broth is, the difference, quite frankly. But I buy low sodium chicken broth, just in the box like that. And get it in the can. It's pretty inexpensive. So, and there's many ways to do all the different components of it, right? So you can do the chicken, you can do a whole chicken, you can buy a rotisserie chicken. Cook the chicken yourself. So I'm going to take you down, show you what I did over here. Hopefully you won't fall. So I started with, hello. Why am I so bad at this? I started making my chicken. I have chicken breasts here now. Sometimes I use rotisserie chicken, but I bought some chicken breasts and I just sauteed them in there. So, and you can use leftover chicken, whatever, the chicken thighs, doesn't matter. Turkey, whatever. All right, let's get a good angle there. Stay. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get these out of here, and they're going to just sit and rest for a little bit. And the beautiful thing about cooking it in the pot that you're going to make the soup in is you're getting all that stuff on the bottom, all that deliciousness, and that's going to add to the flavor of the soup. So you're going to want to scrape that up as you saute your vegetables. So pretty much most methods of soup making, homemade soup making, are pretty much the same. I mean, again, you can do everything from making your own broth to just throwing some chicken stock in a pot with some shredded chicken and some vegetables, canned vegetables, frozen vegetables. So it can be as easy or as difficult as you want to make it. This is how I usually do it, and so I'm going to get started. The recipe should be posted with this video, but you'll get it as I go along. So I'm starting with a large onion. I'm going to cut that up, get that going. And anything that I put in mine, you know, pretty much you can leave out. The thing about, so even though you're using, or I'm using, chicken broth that's purchased, I still want the stuff that I'm putting in it to flavor the broth, and I can't. I'm fighting with this. This onion is not cooperating. Hello. Alrighty. Anyway, so again, what I was about to say, or struggling to say, is you can substitute any of the vegetables that I'm putting in. I'm putting cabbage. I'm putting leeks. You can, I mean, within reason, right? You're not going to put, you could put broccoli. Look at, I'm going to have to peel half that off. You could put anything, really. Spinach. A lot of times I throw kale in there. Sometimes it's about what's in the refrigerator and what's going to go bad. So sometimes it's a clean out the fridge kind of soup, and whatever is in there is going in the soup. So I like to dice this large dice. I don't want big giant chunks, but I also don't want them, it's going to cook for a while, so I don't want them to get completely lost. So kind of a medium to large dice. Do it any way you want. And, you know, some of this stuff you can improvise as far as buying stuff already cut up in the supermarket. They've got a huge section now of stuff that's already cut up, and you can just grab a bunch of stuff that's already cut up. I'm going to get this going. Turn that back on. I'm not even going to take out the little pieces of chicken that got left in there because that's just going to add to the flavor. I'm going to cut up some carrots. I've got some organic carrots, so when I buy organic, I don't peel them. Sometimes I don't even peel. It depends how the skin looks. If it looks kind of not so great, then I might peel the carrots, but not always. So we're just going to chop those up. However you like them. You can chop them a different way if you don't want to do it this way. You can make little, little sticks or whatever. I don't know about you, but I don't know if it's because I've been making homemade soup for so long, but every now and then I get nuts and I buy canned soup, and then I'm like, I'm sorry, Campbell's, but yeah, no. It either tastes like nothing, or it's got a funny, like, I don't know, maybe they're putting preservatives or something. I don't know what's going on with soup, but maybe it's just because I've been making it for so long. I'm just used to my soup. I just haven't found one that I really like, and it's not that hard to make, so I just do it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just chopping up my celery. So I've used 4 carrots, 3 to 4, depending on the size. I've got 4 celery stalks here. Just chopping those up, and I used 1 large onion so far. That's where we're at. And I used chicken breasts, like I said before. Turn that down. And get me in here. Okay. The celery and the carrots take kind of a long time, and you don't have to saute them ahead of time. You just throw them in, but it's going to take longer for them to cook down. So this is already hot, and I'll throw a little more olive oil in there, and we'll start cooking those veggies. I'm sauteing them in that same olive oil that I used to cook the chicken, and so it's going to get all that good chickeny flavor in there. Chickeny is a new word. Hopefully this isn't too loud for you. Get all that goodness in. You can put garlic too if you want. I don't usually. Alright, now I'm also going to add a leek. Hello. That's a leek if you're not familiar. They are a good natural diuretic, for what it's worth. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I'm going to add some salt to this. They're good for you, bottom line. One of the diets that I had read one time, the whole diet was cook leeks in water, and then for like 3 days you're supposed to just drink the water, and it's supposed to like cleanse all the fluid out of you. And then the 4th day you get to like eat the leeks, which I would probably die. But anyway, they're good. They have a mild oniony flavor. They're good for you. I add them. I don't add them all the time, but I'm adding them now. When you buy a leek, the top, so they get really, really dirty up here on the top. So cut it, slice it down the middle, and really check this inside part at the top. It gets really dirty, but still a little bit of dirt. So I'm going to stop near the top. I'm not going to cut the whole thing. So I'm just going to dice that. You can put other things too. Certainly explore different kind of greens, spinach, bok choy, really anything. Zucchini, broccoli, asparagus. And I like a lot of stuff in my soup. I like a lot of broth. I don't like just eating a bowl of broth. I want stuff. I want lots and lots of stuff. Alright, I'm going to move that around a little bit because You want to pull up all that stuff from the bottom. Get all that yumminess mixed in. And I want to turn it up. And I'm going to add a little more salt. So I salt and peppered my chicken breasts before I sauteed them. So you want to layer, you want to season every layer, everything that you're going to put in your soup. I'm going to add some pepper. You ain't seasoning if you're not using salt. All right, I'm going to let that go a little bit while I finish chopping up. I've got cabbage. Cabbage is one of those things that doesn't have a real strong taste, so it's more about having some additional texture and stuff in my soup. I like cabbage soup, and vegetable soup is good. Sometimes, you know, if you are watching your weight and you want to like kind of fill up a little bit with your dinner, you can have just vegetable soup with some chicken broth. You know, there's barely any calories in it. You can, you know, have a bowl of that with dinner or before dinner and, you know, get your tummy a little full so that you're not eating as much of what else you're eating. Okay, let me cut up my cabbage. I'm just cutting up about a head of cabbage-ish. You know, again, it's all what you want, what you like, and kind of just chopping it up, leaving kind of big pieces. Get this, this is probably a little more than half, but again, do what you want, do what you like. Soup is, you know, it's a method, right? So you learn how to do it, and then you improvise. You do what you want. Another thing that I do, I put the celery in. The tops of the celery, you know, you cut that and you throw them out. Don't do that. Cut that up and throw that in too. All that has flavor. Flavor. All about adding flavor wherever you can. That's sauteing nicely. See if I can get you over there. Where are you? There you go. Just moving it around, and all those bits came off the bottom and added to the yumminess of the soup. You don't want bland soup. Nobody likes bland soup. All right. You're doing good so far. I haven't dropped you yet. All right, I'm not going to add that quite yet. Just going to let this keep going. Keep stirring, keep going. All right, at this point, I can add, so this is one of the ingredients that should be listed on the recipe, curry. I threw curry in there one time, just, I don't know, whatever. And it's so good, and this sweet curry is really, really, really good. It just adds like a depth of flavor. It just adds a little something. You don't really know what it is, but you're like, you can just tell there's something in there that's really elevating the flavor. So about a teaspoon, I'm going to throw that in. Let that bloom and marry with the rest of the stuff in there. That sweet curry, I like curry, but that sweet curry is so good. I'm not getting paid by Penzi Spices, but I really recommend their spices. They're cheaper and they're so much more flavorful than the stuff you're getting at the supermarket. I'm sorry, McCormick and all you other guys. All right, that is going really well, and I think I can probably throw in my cabbage now. That's a lot of cabbage, but it's gonna wilt down. It's like it's not quite as doesn't wilt down quite as much as spinach does. I mean, spinach, you put this big giant thing and then you end up with this little tiny thing of spinach. This, not quite the same, but it will wilt down for sure. Mostly when I put the broth in. And I'm only gonna let that go for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna start adding the broth and the rest of the stuff. A little bit of salt. Adding salt to the veggies also helps to draw out the liquid in them and to get them to cook down and sweat down faster. So, you know, obviously if you're watching your salt, you're not going to want to put a ton. And you can always add it. You can't take it out if you put too much. You know, there are things you can do. If you do put too much, you can add some more chicken stock or some of the other ingredients. But best to start small and then add later if you can. So At this point, I'm going to add my chicken stock, chicken broth, chicken stock, chicken broth. I know that there's differences. I don't really care. I'm using this. I like low sodium because, again, if I add chicken broth with sodium, then I don't know how much I'm getting. And how much to use? I put 6 cups in the recipe, but again, if you're wanting it to be thicker or thinner, if you want more broth, add more broth. You know, it's not going to hurt you to put as much as you want. I'm putting about 6 cups, so that would be 1.5 of these box thingies. That's about good. About 6 cups. And at this point, I added my curry. I'm going to throw some bay leaves in here. A couple of bay leaves. Bay leaves take a longer time to extract their flavor because it's a whole leaf rather than a bunch of little tiny pieces. So get that in there as soon as you can. Whoa! Drop it. And I think that's it. I'm going to cut up the chicken and get that in there too. This is going to take a while to, whoa, turning on burners. This stove is crazy. You just touch the thing and it goes on. So I just turned my burner off. What is wrong with me? Okay. It's all going good there. All right, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna cut up my chicken, get it in there, come back in a little bit and we'll taste it. Hi again, I'm back. While you were gone, I chopped up my chicken. You can cut it up any way you want. I kind of cubed it. You can shred it. You can leave it in big pieces if you want. That's a personal preference. I'm gonna throw that in. It started boiling. And I also, I tasted it and it was terribly under seasoned, salt wise. So I put some more salt in there. And you always want to check for seasoning as you go. And when you salt something, what's going on here? Obsessing about my hair. You want to let it get in there. Don't salt it and then taste it right away. Salt it, let it kind of permeate and get in there and do its salty thing, and then taste it a little bit later. Don't taste it right away because salt will dissolve and add flavor. So the chicken's in there now. The only other thing is, so this is chicken vegetable soup. It does not have any noodles. It doesn't have any rice. It doesn't have any pasta of any kind. But obviously, if you want to add noodles to it, you can add egg noodles or rice, or sometimes I put orzo or any kind of small pasta. And my husband is not so much carb conscious, so he likes that. So what I'll do is cook that on the side and throw it in his and leave it out of mine. So you can do that too. And show you. I can bubbling away. And the cabbage is already wilted down quite a bit. You can certainly call that homemade soup, even though you didn't make the broth. You can make the broth. Again, like I said, put a whole chicken in the pot, put some onions and some celery and some carrots in there, let it boil till it's cooked and it lets off all of its juices. Take it out, strain it, get rid of the fat off the chicken. There will be some fat, not a lot. And, you made your own broth. That's an accomplishment too. But there is no shame in buying broth from the supermarket. The only other thing I'm going to add at this point is some lemon juice, believe it or not. A little acid. Acid is an underrated ingredient. There's all different ways to add acid, and not many people think about that. I'm getting some parsley over here, excuse me. I'm going to add some parsley to the top. A little freshness. I learned a lot about Adding acid to food from the book Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which I borrowed from the library and then since bought because it's fantastic and it's all the basics of cooking, and it taught me a lot about when and how to add acid, how to season, all of that good stuff. So I highly recommend that book too. Again, I'm not getting any money for saying that, but I recommend it. I'm going to throw that in. Beautiful little green freshness on the top. And that's going to be our dinner tonight. I'm going to let it simmer for a while and turn it down. Let it simmer for a bit, let that bay leaf do its thing, let all the veggies get soft and all the flavors marry together. And we're going to have that later, and chances are I'm going to put some cheese on it because I love a little melted cheese on top of my soup. I'll probably cook up some egg noodles for him, and that will be our dinner. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tackle homemade soup, and I hope you check out all our other cooking videos and all the different things we're doing on YouTube. Cumberland Library's YouTube channel has lots of stuff, and check out our Cumberland Public Library webpage for our events coming up, and I'll see you back here again soon, I hope.